All righty. Moors in America. The word Moor comes from the Latin word moris and the Greek adjective moros, meaning dark or black when denoting skin color. And we know black means pale in etymology. So see the Oxford English Dictionary. The term Moor is also used as a transitive verb to a moor, a ship. See Webster's New World Dictionary. The word admiral comes from the Arabic word amari, meaning commander or Moorish navigator. See rudder and sextant. And I referenced that last meeting, rudder and sextant. So highly recommended that people read that as well. And the brother Benjamin Bay put it in the chat last week as well. The root Amir is Amer, meaning American. Webster's New World Dictionary, page 44 of that book, 1988 edition. The word American means a native of America, originally applied to Aboriginals or copper-colored race, found here by the Europeans, but not applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. And you see the references once again to that Webster's dictionary. The term American etymologically is commander, loves riches. Amir, commander, Arabic word. Amour also means love, French. Or rica, rich, or Spanish word. Date. So we're dealing with a date here, 480 AD. We're dealing with a timeline. We're going to be dealing with timelines. We're going to move forward to the present. And you everybody have a gray area on this history imperative that you take notes. Circa 480 AD, the monastic brotherhood, Catholic Moors from Morocco. Why am I highlighting Catholic Moors? Because some of our people might just think we talking about Catholic, we thinking blonde hair, blue eyed people, as if Moors are just Islamic. Moors a nationality. We have Moors that were Christian, Catholic, Buddhists, but they still were Moors. The monistic brotherhood Catholic Moors from Morocco landed on present day Connecticut, North America, near the coast of Long Island. The inscription found on granite outcrops in Cacapana Forest, Connecticut, and the inscription on Hajj Minim Rock located in Figug toward the east of Morocco confirms the voyage. A reference to this information, Moroccan Daily Newspaper, published September 16, 1995. For more information, contact the Permanent Mission for Morocco in New York. Now we're transitioning to 700 to 800 AD. Several Muslim schools in North America, Valley of Fire, Nevada, Mesa Verde, Colorado, Members Valley, New Mexico, and Tippecanoe, Indiana. North African Arabic and Old Kufic Arabic scripts are engraved on rocks. Test, diagram, charts, including writing, reading, arithmetic, religion, history, geography, mathematics, astronomy, and sea navigation. So these time frames, if it was North African script engraved on rocks, clearly the history of these lands is dealing with that, right? And it's just something to compare to, right? So we can know it's a gray area about culture. We talk to our people, they don't really know what was going on pre the colonization, the conquistadors, etc. They don't really know. They just know Indians, tents, teepees. They don't really know exact what was going on, right? So This was what was going on. It was Arabic scripts. It was old Kufic scripts. It was astronomy and mathematics. They do give a hint of that with the Mayans, because you see the Mayan calendar is a zodiac wheel. So they do kind of hint that, the indigenous people dealt with that. But us as the Moors want to give more clarity and specificity on why we're dealing with that, why we're dealing with zodiac, how how that apply to the ancient culture, right? 1492 AD. On Monday, October 21st, 1492, Christopher Columbus admits in his papers while sailing near Cuba, he saw a mosque on top of a beautiful mountain. The ruins of mosques and minarets and inscriptions of Quran verses have been found in Cuba, Mexico, Texas, and Nevada. The dress of the Indian, quote unquote, or Moorish women, long veils. The men, breed clothes painted in style of Moorish drapiers in Grenada and Trinidad. So this is a quote from Pre-Columbian Muslims in America by Dr. Yusuf Merah, where he's laying the foundation that with the Moors in Grenada and in Trinidad, which Trinidad is a misnomer, but we're talking about Grenada, different parts of the planet where Moors are. They got the same clothes as the Moors in Cuba, Mexico, quote unquote, Texas, and Nevada. So clearly, this is the same people. And he's laying the foundation in his book, Free Columbian Muslims in the Americas. So before Columbus, pre-Columbian, there was no Columbia. That jurisdiction wasn't heard of. There was no Columbia at this time, but it was Moors in that jurisdiction. And it was Quran verses scribed not only on stone, but pyramids. I mean Arabic on the pyramid, Quran verses on the stones. So that must be what indigenous people were dealing with. It's just, you keep it that simple when I like to present things like that to the public to invoke thought, like, right? Because there's misconceptions about what was going on, as if we were savages, as if we were just, right, hunters and gatherers, and this primitive mind frame. Our houses were tents and teepees. That's all we had. That's like as if we wasn't building Taj Mahal style fortresses in the Americas, right? So you have to. Our people don't know this. Study more. This is repetition. But when we're talking to the public, we can't forget. These people don't know nothing about none of this. We have to act that way. All right. And we must be sharp as we go through this. We can't get cocky as we go through our years as if we just know this information because we might forget stuff. Right. Study, study, study. All right. So continuing. The descendants of these North American Moors are the present day Iroquois, Algonquin, Anasazi, Anagokum, Olmec, Apache, Arawak, Araucana, Chavin, Cherokee, Cree, Hoopa, Hope, Maka, Mohawk, Naka, Zulu, Zuni. All right. These words also derive from Arabic and Islamic root origins. Also, another quote from the book Pre-Columbian Muslims in America by Dr. Yusuf Merah. The word Indian is India, like ink means black pigment. And to add to that, like we talked about last week, well, no, Brian, no, Brother Hassan wasn't here. Everybody else was here, but you know, Indian is a British East Indian tag on our people of the area of what was known as the Mauryan dynasty, modern day India,
And
Pakistan.
Mark, to add to what you were saying like a couple minutes ago about how they think that our houses were just teepees and stuff. Like if people do their research, like we do our research, some of these buildings and cathedrals and things and these old ancient banks, it says founded on the side of the building. That means they found them, they did not build them because they can't build the Moorish structure that was you know, built in ancient times, they don't have the technology or the smarts to build those type of buildings and churches and cathedrals to this day. You feel what I'm saying? Like those
Right.
churches and cathedrals and things were built a certain way to harness energy into. When we, you know, when our people and our ancestors would meditate and pray, you know, the way those churches and it was deep. I learned a lot. I did some studying through the week, you know, at work because it was slow, and I learned a lot, bro. So I just wanted to add that to it. If anyone wanted to be interested in learning that type of fact about our ancient architecture, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Anybody else want to add anything else that they wanted to add?
I'll probably add to that, like maybe I remember also researching too that the like pyramids and other structures like that, they're like sound rooms too, basically to aid in the process of meditation.
Yes, sir. Correct.
Yeah, the dome structure or like that high ceiling with the vibrations, it bounces off, and so it creates like a healing space during meditation with all the sounds,
Correct.
the wind,
That's
the structure.
correct.
Read that in
Correct.
the was it the World Tartarian? One World Tartarian?
Hmm.
Yep. One more
Yeah.
Targaryen. Got some trail.
Yeah, a little bit. It was making me think. I haven't done a full study on this subject, but there was another guy in SoCal. He had I basically like he was trying to recreate some technology, and it was basically like the vibrations and the frequencies was healing people's from diseases.
Tesla?
I think I think he was trying to like copy it from like Tesla. Yes, I think it's in that same uh technology, but yeah, it was like healing diseases and like reversing kind of almost aging and stuff like that.
So wait,
Correct.
what
From
type
different
of technology was this?
it
Where was he finding it from?
he was when you guys were talking about making these certain buildings, he was like making a certain a building and almost kind of had like a dome shape too, and he was trying to recreate some technology, but it was basically saying like the frequencies, it was healing certain people, and I believe he
Yes. Correct.
did get successful, but then I believe the higher arcs had like shut it down. But I'm gonna look this up right now and see if I can remember, so I can throw something in the chat or something. So
Yeah, because you're electric on the inside. So it's certain frequencies that you can play in your ears and meditate and sit there, and it can heal you from the inside, bro. It's deep.
right, like our ancestors used to do with different drum rhythms and certain things like that. It's a lot to learn. Yeah.
Sir, it's a never ending thing. We this whole family right here will never ever learn everything. We're gonna it's a constant study, a constant evolvement. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This science is constant, bro. It never stops, bro.
Yeah. We always a student,
Indeed.
All right. So let's. Okay. So the status of the descendants of the Moorish inhabitants of Spain and Portugal on American soil is free white persons, natural men and women. This status does not apply to Caucasian race, Aryan race, or Indo-European race under the Naturalization Act of 1879, which is the 14th Amendment. And this is a reference from the Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, page 797.
Hey, Mafia, also too, did you notice in that line that it says Naturalization Act? It did not say Nationalism Act, Naturalization Act. So, the Europeans, they're openly admitting that they have to naturalize in this land. However, they walk around with the impression of being sovereigns. That's all an illusion.
Yeah.
So who
Yeah.
are they beholden to? Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. This for y'all because
Brother Larry, hey, brother Larry. So the word sovereign is really a myth. Is that what you're trying to say, bro? Like, so
No,
what?
no. What I'm saying is that, okay, so the Naturalization Act, right? It gave them it gave them the right to naturalize in our land, right? However, the perception is that they're nationals, and they walk around as though they are the nationals and the sovereigns and the heirs of our estate. And that the story, as the story goes, they brought us here on slave ships and so forth and so on, and they perceive themselves as being nationals. But when you read the law, you clearly see the word naturalization, and there's no way nationalization could be the same as nationalism.
Can I read it for you guys?
yeah.
So it says right there, naturalization, right? But I want to read naturalize in the Black Laws Dictionary. It's to confer citizenship upon an alien, to make a foreigner the same in respect to rights and privileges, as if he were a native citizen or subject to. Okay, naturalized citizen, one who belongs to an alien by birth, one who, being an alien by birth, has received citizenship under the laws of the state or nation. Naturalization, the act of adopting a foreigner and clothing him with privileges of native citizens.
Right.
So they're granting them privileges.
You see when you dig a little deeper and go into that, because we mistakenly think they're nationals. They're not. They can't be.
And then my question is, who are they subject to? Because it says that like someone has to
Also
grant
Morocco.
Right.
So
That's a great question. You know why that's a great question? Because it opens the door to, okay, if we got one side of the spectrum is national and on the other side of it's naturalized, then who are the nationals in America? That opens a question, right?
Yeah,
No, we know that. We get that. Remember, we're this is the dojo. We're trying to we're going to talk to the public. We're going to end up talking to the public when we're done with these temple meetings. We're going to go through our lives, right? So these are the questions people have. Like, okay, I get that. So in other areas of the world, if you go to China, the Japanese nationals have to naturalize you and clothe you with citizenship if you show allegiance to them, right?
Wow.
So what has to happen in America or in the Americas is we have to have operations. So it starts with like this, like we're having temple, we're doing missionary work, we're getting a pool of people involved under the Moorish paradigm. Then what's supposed to happen is our organization, where it's a government structure, right? Where we're actually a nation state. And then we click up with other Moors in different territories that are nation states and operational, form confederations. Now it's government structure, right? Once again, we got muftis that can arrest people and put them in Moorish jails. We have judges, we have farms, we got businesses. It's an ecosystem. Now what happens is, say a foreigner come over here and wants to be part of what we got going on. We can naturalize them. We are the people, the Moorish nation states are supposed to naturalize. The home team can naturalize foreigners if they pledge allegiance to the Moorish nation.
I'm starting to get it.
Right? That makes sense. But since the home team don't know they're the home team in America, the foreigners acting like the home team. And they saying they're naturalized, right?
Ty, right? Is it Ty? Ty? Is it Ty? Ty? Did you ever read the Declaration of Independence from them?
When I was young, I remember reading it. two, three times.
Yeah, oh, I remember too back then. But then when you go back as an adult and you read it, you really read what's going on. You'll see on there it says the 13 colonies of New England. So did you come from New England or
No,
England? Then
no.
how can you be part of them? It's like
Mm,
being a red ant trying to mix in with a black ant,
mm,
or better yet, it's trying to be a fish hanging out with birds.
talking shit.
You see it. You
Yeah.
don't. You look at nature. Nature does not play like that. Lions don't
Mm,
sleep with hyenas.
mm,
Elephants don't hang out with horses.
mm,
You see, but over here it's a great melting pot. So therefore, all these people from around the world are coming over here.
Mm.
An Asian guy will come over here and automatically get naturalized, and people look at him like he's an American, but clearly he's Asian, right?
true.
Right? Then that's what we're looking at is all these Europeans, Australians, anybody that comes over here. Now they're sitting in our seats and trying to dictate the laws to us. How many Africans do you see in the Chinese seats over there
None.
in government? None, right? None. You don't see that. It's only here that it's so messed up because we don't know who we are. But once we know who we are and what they're saying, then we're going to start separating everybody. And at the end, there's only be a handful of Europeans left here, and they're going to be loyal to the Moorish nation, not to the United States citizen de facto one.
You
Not
know
yet.
what, Elion Bay, you hit it right
Yeah.
on the nail, man. You hit it right on the nail. I overlooked that so many times reading that Declaration of Independence. You are definitely right when it says, New England,
Yeah,
that
it's
they
doing
came here from New England, but we were already here. So
right.
it's an impossibility for us to even be a part of their society.
Yeah, we can. But the thing is that here's what they're doing. They're going here and they're claiming to be the Americans and telling everybody else that they're foreigners or aliens, or which in a sense it's true because we're foreign to them. But when they start calling themselves American, we call them Americans. We lost our birthright because we're giving up our titles to them. Does that make sense? Our
Yeah.
tie to the land, and they're
You
the
know,
foreigners.
It's funny because I've been correcting my language, my linguistics when it comes to that. When I come across other people, and they call themselves Americans, I find myself correcting them, and it do seem a little odd to them because remember their history that they learned in our public schools is that I've been the submissive one, I've been the one in chains and shackles, I've been brought here off the Mayflower and all these other ships and things of that nature, and you guys, and then look at the state and the condition of our people right now. So it seems a little odd to them when I'm telling them that I'm the national and that they're the natural, the naturalized. And they look at me like, man, you don't know what you're talking about. I know what I'm talking about.
Because it's those two words right there. They're almost the same, but people haven't studied them. That's why you just tell them, just ask them, what's your bloodline? And they'll tell you Americans. Okay, well, let's re-ask it. Before 1492, where was your family from? Then they'll say wherever, and then that's what you are. And if they claim that they're Americans, they say, well, how did you change your bloodline? Does that make sense? You can't change your bloodline. Then if they say
No
that they
one,
still are, then take them to their own doctrine. If they claim to be Christians, give them Genesis chapter 10, 1 through 32, or is it 30? Anyway, it tells you how the world was divided, and this is Ham's land, and Ham's quote unquote black. So how can you be an American when you're not part of Ham?
yeah, exactly. And no one has the power. No one has the power to change the descent nature of another man. So that's the
Right.
reason why I have I owe no allegiance to the word black. Period.
Truly.
Because you can't change the descent nature of another man. That's like you take the spots off a leopard. Is it still a leopard? It's still a leopard. So you giving me a whole new identity doesn't change the fact that I'm a Moor. Period.
Right.
Right. Yep. And every human being has a nationality. That's why.
Right.
That's why. Because somebody was asking me, "Oh, if I got arrested with a driver's license that's different from my nationality card," and then it was like the ticket gonna say the straw, right? So now it's like I'm not the Moor no more. So I'm like, And I gave them an example. I'm like, okay, say that happens. Say you in open court and they be like, oh, the arresting officer comes and all that. You're gonna phrase a question to them. You're gonna be like, okay, I still have a nationality. They're gonna look at you. They're gonna say, okay, I'm a Moor. So based on that, I was talking about the Department of State, how they talking about foreign nationals and they got to talk, go under treaty law and all that. It opens the road to another conversation, right? But it's back to being competent because most people like him, the person I was talking to, you'll start panicking, because you're just not studied, So I wanted to throw that in there because it was parallel to what y'all was talking about right now. It's like you still got a nationality no matter what they try to say. Oh, this not you. This driver's license. Are you saying this not you? So this is not you. I'm like, no, it ain't me.
Like,
I got
look, bro, that's a
right.
plastic
So
piece of paper.
no, but yeah, it's just like I say, our people go through that, especially when they first come into this space and they start
Yeah, I know.
testing their hand, fighting the little tickets and challenging jurisdiction. They come across these things and they just don't know how to answer certain. They just not studying. But I'm just bringing that up now as that's a way to combat that. Is like I got a nationality. No matter what you're trying to say, that's me. Let's roll with that. I have a nationality and I'm a Moor. So therefore, any dispute between a non-US citizen and a US citizen, this ain't the proper venue,
Right.
right? There's so many
Yep.
doors you can go with that, right?
Yeah.
There's so many angles you can take with that. So, you're not
Yeah.
boxed in. Don't let the people think you boxed in,
Nope. Where the attorney general at? Yeah. Say something.
right? Right, exactly. Any disputes, you know?
Islam Abdullah Bey.
Islam, Islam.
Dula, peace and love, Dula.
Peace and love, peace and love.
Peace and
Peace
love,
and love,
everyone.
Abdullah.
Peace, everyone.
All right, all right.
Peace and love, peace
Peace,
and love, man.
peace.
Peace, everyone. Peace on my apology. I'm just still we can make it happen. Thank you, everyone. I did a lecture yesterday. Ishmael Shrine Grand Lodge. This was scheduled over 10 months ago. This was yesterday at Somerset. I'm still in Somerset. We're still at the hotel, not too far from the hotel where I did the lecture. So good. So I thought I would be back in Philadelphia by this time, but it's all good. So it's been a while since I've been on the platform. How's everyone doing?
Oh, pretty good, man.
Good.
Doing
Yeah.
We
good.
had the conference on May 18th.
Ooh,
Boys Political Unity Conference on May 18th. We will be scheduling between August or September, a meet once a month for a period of 6 months with the various Moorish body politics, so that we can move from the May 18th Moorish Political Unity Conference to the formation of the Moorish Pure Parliament Council, whereby the heads of various Moorish body politics, 30, 40, 50, 60 of them, how many they are, will come together and sign an agreement. And that agreement is just political. I'm talking political science. With that agreement, will form a national Moorish provisional government. Why provisional, not permanent? You cannot have permanent without the millions of people.
Right.
But you can have a provisional that can serve for 3 years or so. And that national provisional government is important because we can address the decades of mass denationalization and dehumanization of our people. The centuries of Spanish, French, English, Dutch, Swedish conquest and colonization of our land, not to the United States, into world court. This is outside of we cannot address. United States does not have the jurisdiction. I've said this several times on this platform. United States does not have the jurisdiction.
Right.
To remove Spanish land grants, French land grants, to take Spanish land grants that was granted by the French crown during the 15, 16, 1700s. United States does not have that jurisdiction. Nice. So we got to address it in world court. We need a strong Moorish national provisional government. That's what we're facilitating. You see my 5 fingers? See my hand?
Yes.
If I were to smack somebody like this, my hand. What's a stronger punch? What will be stronger? Am I doing this or am I doing this?
The fist would be stronger.
Oh,
Concentrating.
so my point I'm making, the
Concentration.
30, 40, 50 Moorish body politics coming together into a national political forum
Unity.
to address for the millions of our people in the international community. That's what we're facilitating. I want to articulate with clarity what we're doing.
Right.
What
We're
we're doing.
bounding us together.
Yes.
One nation. One Moorish nation under one contract.
Meaning that
That's what
it
he
would be
said.
a provisional. It would be a provisional. This is political science. It's not taught in law school. It's called a provisional government, a temporary government. In that provisional capacity, it'll be in writing. This provisional government will have a 3-year, I'm just throwing out in the year, a 3-year tenure. And during this 3-year tenure, we will facilitate education to the millions of our people. It will be spelled out. But in the meantime, we will address the centuries of English, Spanish conquest, the denationalization of the humanity of our people. It'll be stronger as a political body, national political body. That's what we're doing. That's what we're facilitating. So we're gonna start either in August or September, and have monthly Zoom meetings, whereby the various Moorish body politics will submit written reports of their progress, of community outreach progress. Will submit written reports and give their written reports. Attendance will be kept, so-and-so, of the so-and-so body politic, so-and-so of the Moorish body politic. Why that's important? Why is attendance important? That is part of due process. That is part of political legitimacy. So I just want to explain why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah, that's
All right?
excellent. That's excellent, man. I'm glad you shared that, because what we were talking about prior to you coming is right and harmony. The brother Brian was asking a question about the difference between nationalization and naturalizing. And I gave an example of intact Moorish nation state that's intact, right? Operational. We got businesses, schools. We're able to arrest people, put them in jail. Our jails. We got judges. It's operational, like other nation states, right? Now we can now people that want to be down with our program, we can naturalize them. Right? I gave an example. So what the brother Abdullah is talking about is a prerequisite to that, by different body politics in different areas coming together. And even I like how he talked about the participation, because it's back to not only the legitimacy, but the law definition of nationality dealing with allegiance. Once we that's why I recorded the meetings too, because it shows who attended.
Right.
Just for the public, it's public record. You want to, okay. Whoop-de-whoop Bay, whoop-de-whoop L saying he's a citizen of a Moorish nation. It's a roll call. It's it's things that show his actions, right? So once again, Instagram, that's another public thing, social media for public record purposes. We're doing events like we had the summer solstice. We're doing Moorish activity. We're doing activity of a people that have an ancient culture and ancient traditions. We're part of, Mafiel is a Moor. It's kind of like when you get a job, right? And then your boss, the potential boss, want to see your social media so they can see if they want to hire you based on your character and what you're about. Same thing, right? Uh, you know, all this stuff counts, so the roll call participation, this should light a fire under us to want to tighten our skills up and have you know, a vision. Why are we getting competent on history and law? So we can be great ambassadors when we do our events to the public, or not just the events, just when we're not together. When you got a fez or turban on, they're gonna come up to you, ask a question. If you want to hit them properly, competently, now they part of the team, right? That's missionary work. We want to do outreach. We want to be active, not passive, like the prophet says, right? All these things are going to help the force field get bigger. We all can play a part in a one common goal, right? And we have domestic actions. Once again, Khalifa society is a body politic, right? Me personally, I do outreach 4 times a week. I'm dealing with the public to get the domestic affairs, the numbers up, the citizens of the nation stay up and operational in this area, right? Hopefully other Moors are doing the same thing in different areas. And then we're gonna come together like the brother's talking about, right? That's what it's about. Anybody asking you what this is about, what's Khalifa Society about? Let them know what it's about, right? With clarity. This is what this is about. Sharpening our school, sharpening our tools. We got to know how to speak with the public, with etiquette. Once they start researching who the Moors are, they're gonna be talking about, oh, these are noble people. These are people. So the experience that they have with the Moor need to match that, or at least strive to match that. You know what I mean? Intelligent people, have a nationality, illustrious culture. We trying to raise our people that don't know culture, raise them up, have them join forces with us, get out the grave, come into the light. Right? I love this. Don't you love this? Doesn't it feel good?
I do. I love this. This is like
Wow.
you don't
Make
know.
you feel like a wizard. Yeah.
I'm trying to keep calm, you feel me? Because what?
Let me address a
Fired up all the
misconception.
time.
Let me address the misconception that has inhibited the growth of this movement.
Yeah.
The misconception that I taught for 25 years to thousands of us that has inhibited the growth of this movement is that we are we are part and parcel of this said government, the United States. That 35 Moors was at the United States Constitutional Convention. That we, the people of the United States, are the Moors. Those are misconceptions that has inhibited this growth. The state that we're in as a people, we belong to a mother who's been in a coma for over 200 years. She's still our mother. Even though our mother has been in a coma, a prolonged state of the absence, a prolonged state of collapse, disintegration, dismemberment. So I'm talking international law. I'm talking international law dealing with loss of sovereignty. So we must speak from that perspective. Loss of sovereignty. Recovering our mother who's been in a coma, means a coma is a prolonged state of unconsciousness. Use international law language to explain that. That is called a temporary collapse, dismemberment, disintegration of a state. That's loss of sovereignty due to Spanish, French, English, Dutch, Portuguese conquest, colonization, subjugation. That's where we are right now. So to say that we're citizens of the Moorish nation Just hear me out. Yes, we belong to the Moorish nation by nationality and descent, but our mother has been collapsed. You have to revive her. We have to revive her first. So how do we revive our mother? I mean, we have to, it's called the reviving of our mother. The political process in international law is called the recovery of lost sovereignty. So I just want y'all to write these down. These are international law terms, so y'all can look them up. We must be clear on our condition so that we, all right, hear me out, y'all. You must apply the proper application of law. Called application of law. So what is the appropriate application of law of a people who belong to a state that's been collapsed? What's the appropriate application of law? It's called the recovery of lost sovereignty. We have to apply that. We have to apply that so that you start looking up recovery of lost sovereignty. You look up statehood. It's called Creation of State by James Crawford. His book, Creation of State by James Crawford. Why am I mentioning James Crawford? James Crawford was a jurist in the International Court of Justice. You want his books.
One second,
Because he was an actual judge. He was a judge in the International Court of Justice. So
real
he
quick,
did mean.
Abdullah.
Yes.
Abdullah, I want to read because you brought up a great point and I looked it up.
Mhm.
International term.
Yes.
I looked up recovery of loss of sovereignty. I just want to read it.
Yeah,
There's
please
elements,
do.
There's elements
Yeah,
in here.
please. I'm gonna let you. Yes.
All right. Loss of sovereignty refers to the reduction or elimination of a nation's ability to independently govern itself and make decisions without external influence. So
that's our condition. That's our
That's our
condition right now. So let's
our
start.
condition.
So that's there. That's our condition. Let's start there. So once you're clear on our condition, loss of sovereignty. So what is the proper application of law to reverse that? What is the
Once
proper
national.
application? No, that's the question. Our condition is what? Loss of sovereignty. What is the appropriate application of law to bring us out of that, to reverse that? So you go to the law of peace. It's called the recovery of lost sovereignty. So you put on the proper, our condition for the past 200 years. Loss of sovereignty, colonization, due to English, Spanish, French, Dutch, conquest, colonization, subjugation. Mass denationalization. That's our condition. What is the appropriate application of law to bring us out of that? I'm just trying to make it plain. Just trying to make this plain.
International law.
All right, so it's called the recovery, yes, international law.
Recovery of lost sovereignty.
Peace. International law of peace, the recovery of lost sovereignty. It's called the recovery of lost sovereignty. So under the recovery of lost sovereignty, you would have, so we have to do what? What would be the process? All right, that because we have to what? Unify. So this is what I was talking about.
Yeah.
When I was saying about having the conference, moving from the May 18th, let's go back to where I started. May 18th, Moorish Political Unity Conference. We're starting in August or September, we'll have monthly meetings with the various body politics. It could be the heads of various body politics. They would have a registry. 50, 60, 70, 80, whatever. They would have a registry. We will take attendance. You will give written reports of your community outreach progress. because we are moving to what? That is the process of what? Moving to signing the agreement to form a national Moorish provisional government. This is the process. This is the process. This is the process of on the road to recover our lost sovereignty. So we went from a provisional government to permanent. What we got to do provisional, and I was saying before, is that we cannot leave the unconscious people out. You must have an avenue of reaching out to unconscious people and an educational structure. Y'all have that. Others are having that. But what has been our holdup, our biggest holdup, is the misconceptions that's been out there for over 100 years. The United States Constitution is not ours. That instrument, by its construction, is to maintain, by its construction, I'm not talking application. Let's talk construction first.
Right.
By its construction, the intent of its construction is to maintain English, Spanish, French, Dutch, conquest and colonization of our land. United States is a fiduciary and trustee for Spain, for France. I said this several times. Hear me out. Give you an example what I mean. What do you mean, Abdullah, that United States is a fiduciary and trustee for France? Great question. 1803 Treaty, Louisiana Purchase Treaty. 1803 Louisiana Purchase Treaty. Article 3 of that treaty is the citizenship clause. The French subjects didn't go anywhere. The French subjects who was on our land, what they called the Louisiana Territory, that vast land that the United States created 15 states out of. The French subjects did not go anywhere. They became citizens of the United States. They were granted land by the French king in the 1600s and 1700s. Spain took over in 1762. I'm explaining what I mean. Through the Treaty of Fontainebleau. So Spain brought her people in, that France territory. Spain brought her people in. So you have French subjects and Spanish subjects in the Louisiana Territory on our land. That treaty, the Louisiana Treaty, made United States a fiduciary and trustee. I mean, the United States has a fiduciary obligation to France by virtue of that treaty. They were French granted French land grants. The reason why Louisiana, if you were to get a law degree in Louisiana State, you'll be studying French civil law, not English common law. Why? Because the French is civil law. That's a complex system of law. So the French, when the French granted land grants, it was granted under French civil law. So United States is a fiduciary. So the United States has an instrument called the United States Constitution that makes provisions for the predecessor occupying sovereigns. That is not our instrument. I am not pushing that. I am not pushing for the maintenance of Spanish, French, English, Dutch conquest and colonization of our land. I'm not doing that. There's been misconceptions. I was one of them. I raised my hand. I taught the misconceptions for 25 years to thousands of conscious Moors.
Ours is only Article 6. That's what we use.
That's the supremacy clause, but that's what y'all used.
Right.
That's not what all other conscious Moors use. Come on, hear me out. That's what y'all use.
Right.
That's not what other conscious Moors use. That's not good. Let's provide clarity now. I'm not disputing what you use. I'm not disputing that. I'm talking about other conscious Moors. That's not what like myself. I was one of the conscious Moors, brother. I was one of the conscious Moors that Mafi learned from. He learned from Basmavari. Basmavari ain't there. Anaid ain't there. Taj ain't there. Hear me out. Taj ain't where you at. Hear me out, brother. So you saying that's what you use. That's not what Taj is used. Taj says that this is our Constitution. Hear me out. I'm calling names now, saying names now. Anahita's not where you at. Ras Mariah's not where you at. Cujo's not where you at. So you are saying that's what you use. But Jamal and them say, well, the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment. Can I get a suit, see your supervisor? The Fifth Amendment. They say that this is our Constitution. They say that we, the people of the United States, is the Moors. They say 35 Moors. Hear me out, brother. I was one of them. I was with them. And I'm saying that they're still part of the misconceptions. I'm saying names now. In the past, I never said names. I'm saying names now. I'm saying names. And you know these people. Anahit, Cujo, Taj, Nature Bey, Ras Mariah, Sharon like Tracy Gary Bay, all of them. Abdullah Bey was once. I was there too. I was there, but I'm no longer there. I'm saying names. So if you seek protection under a foreign instrument, I'm not talking Article 6. But they don't just mention Article 6.
Yeah. And all we can, all I can speak for is the jurisdiction where I'm at. And
No, of course.
Article 6, that's the tie. Article 6 and Article 3. And that's it. But
no, Article 3 doesn't apply either. Let me qualify that. Let me out. Article 3 doesn't apply to you. Let me explain. Article 3, Section 2, all right? That's the judicial power that doesn't apply to extraterritoriality cases, though. Article 3, Section 2 does not apply to extraterritoriality cases. It applies to treaty cases. Yes, it does, but not to all treaty cases, not to extraterritoriality cases. So let's be clear on that. So Hauenstein versus Lynham, Ware versus Hilton, Society versus New Haven, those are treaty cases that fall under Article 3, Section 2 of the United States Constitution, but not the treaties, not the Moorish treaties. Not the Moorish treaties. Why? Because of the extraterritoriality clauses. Consular court, only a Moorish consul. Not the United States. That's what I'm saying. So Article 3, Section 2 does not apply to Moorish cases because, let's write this down. Article 3, Section 2, that's Article 3, Section 2, and there's several clauses. Article 3, Section 2, and there's several clauses. All right? It does not apply to Moorish cases because of the treaties, the 1856 treaty with Great Britain, the 1796 treaty, between the Bay of Tripoli and the United States, the 1797 treaty, the Day of Algiers and the United States, the 1787 treaty with Morocco and the United States. They have extraterritoriality clauses. Only the Bay would have jurisdiction. Only the Bay and the treaty between the Bay of Tripoli and the United States. Only the Day between the treaty of the Day of Algiers and the United States. Read the treaty. Right. Don't go by what Abdullah said. Don't go what Abdullah said. So who would have jurisdiction? So not the United States courts. Not Article 3, Section 2 does not apply. It applies in Hauenstein versus Lynham. Let me hear me out. In Hauenstein versus Lynham, that's the 1879 case. That's Solomon Hauenstein. This is a case based on the 1850 treaty between the Swiss Confederation and the United States. That treaty does not have an extraterritoriality clause. So therefore, it applies under Article 3, Section 2 of the United States Constitution. You got to read the treaty. Read the treaty. All right, don't read the United States clause first. Read the treaty first. Don't not the United States Constitution. Read the treaty first.
Yeah.
The treaty. What does the treaty read? I'm saying the treaty.
Right. Yeah.
Hey,
And
Yeah,
that,
not
and that, yeah,
don't start with the United States Constitution. Start with the
yeah.
treaty.
hey,
Yeah.
Abdullah. Hey, I got a quick question, right? I was doing some research. Correct me if I'm right or wrong. Is it just this simple? I was doing some research that the only thing you need to do with the International Court of Justice is simply send an email and attach the international human rights violations and so forth to an email, which along with documentation. Am I right or wrong with that?
No, that you're wrong. You're wrong. We have to first assemble as a government body
Got you.
and make that known to the international community. We must function as a government body. This is what I was talking about. This, you know, this, from the May 18 Moorish Political Unity Conference to I was talking that whole process. What I'm saying, what's going on, brothers, is sisters, is that, the reason I'm doing this because we're stronger like this. Like, wouldn't we be stronger operating 40, 50 body politics, operating as one?
Yeah.
Yep. And once
That's
again,
what I'm talking about.
brother Abdullah,
Yes.
once
I
again,
want
that's our
Sister
mind frame.
Bacola. Give me 1 minute. I want Sister Bacola, give her, because she does a great job. I want Sister Bacola to explain, to assist me in this, explaining where we're going with this. Political unity.
It's fine, sister.
What you did yesterday,
Good
Saturday.
days, everyone.
What you did Saturday.
I need an alternate. I'm sorry.
Just give them 3 minutes.
So Political Unity Conference, a conference that we did a couple of weeks ago, was designed. It was designed as a form of a call for community outreach.
Hold up to your face.
Oh, sorry, I'm in. Sorry. So what we were doing is targeting, in particular, leaders that have a group that have their own mission statement, but that they're Asiatics that need to be woken up to birthright nationality and so forth. So strategically, campaign was to bring key speakers in so that we all can hear, what the mission is. The mission really is about waking up the people to the plan. The plan of action is we call it the Shem Malachi Bay Plan, and everyone knows it. He's the paralegal that researched to find out what a people have to do in order to regain their sovereignty that's been collapsed due to conquest and invasion and so forth. So initially, we're looking to wake people up in general, but more importantly, the people that have a leadership status, getting those people, because we know that they have a group already formulated, and helping those people create the body politic, or encouraging them to create a body politic, which is basically a small tribal group within their region, and establish, the government, or just say a government, a facsimile of a government, if you will, having a leader and having, a secretary, and then having the members, and then go into knowing that in everybody's local area, you have to raise the consciousness of the people. So at the local level, you would be doing classes or whatever. For the people that have been voted in those local areas, those people would be designated to come on board and help formulate the larger body politic or governmental structure. And it would be a convention to go on. And from that, we would be signing the Liberty Treaty, almost similar to a confederation amongst ourselves. And then that would formulate the temporary provisional government, by which would go to the UN with our issue of law sovereignty. I think I knocked the brother off.
Uh-huh.
Brother Benjamin Bay, peace and
Yeah,
love.
yep.
Sorry
Uh-huh.
about that. So we would go
Peace and
to
love, Morris.
we'll go to the UN pertaining to what our condition imposed upon us has been, and put them on notice of what the situation is that we are now aware of. And then from there, I would say simultaneously, we would have that that claim, that legal claim to present to the international community, aka World Court. It would be a simultaneous thing, but to just put the United Nations on notice that we, Whip Van Winkle has just woken up. That's not good enough, because we know that there's human rights offenses that have gone on, and that we're going to need remedy, remedy in helping to build a nation, right? So the political unity amongst ourselves is it has to go on at the lowest level possible. So that means you need other potential leaders that are going to be thinkers. Because sometimes our people will sit at the table and just be ready to eat, not knowing that, mama got to go shopping, daddy got to go to work to make it happen, to make the money, or you know what I mean? You gotta sit and cook the food before you sit down and eat the food, and then you gotta have your napkin before you. So our people are so well taken care of by the society and by the colonial powers. We ourselves, or the people that we are attempting to wake up, will be in they would be quite in a dependent state, and may even be arrogant with a dependency. Like, oh, they're supposed to be, it's not, they're not organized. And the thing is that I say with the what is that? One of the presidents say, stop asking what your country can do for you. What can you do for your country? See, that what you can do for your country is really our version of putting our people together in the right consciousness that, hey, we got to really start to govern ourselves, put our little body politic together locally, find out who's got talents. You got a degree, with your degree in. Okay, what do you got? You start formulating it at the small level, start getting the teachers, because now you got to start changing the minds of the people and of the students and of the youth. Yeah, start that going on, and then let them get the consent. The biggest thing, and it's something that I didn't really put out yesterday, which has to be we have to be reminded of, is that we need people. We need the people. We need the people to wake up so that they can give us consent to speak and to move forward in their behalf and our behalf too. So getting the consent of the people is one of the requirements that the Shem Malachi Bay plan is specific about. Also, getting the consent of the people so that we can show that we have a unified group coming together up under the one national title of more Moroccan or Moorish people. So starts at the local level, starts with our people waking up, starts with us pointing out people's talents to see what they can do to help, get the women involved so that they can at least start teaching the children and making it, when you make a home, it's like, throw the woman at the house and get the children. And that kind of starts the foundation of making a home, because the mom is going to make it comfortable for the children who don't know who's innocent. You know what I mean? So therefore, okay, now it's going to be more of a toned down, laid back environment. While the whole world is going chaotic and doing whatever they do, mom keeps it quiet in the house. Keeps your mind quiet, keep you organized, let you know the possibilities of what's happening out there, And so you need that as a conscious state of mind. So that's why I say bring women in or men that teach. But the bottom line is to start to educate your own community the way that you do. And I say also, it's not so much like we're trying to make a big breakaway, but we have to make it realistic. We have to not, snatch the bottle away just too quickly on what our relationship is with dealing with the colonial system that's in place, that's been affecting us and our parents and our grandparents. So we have to make a smooth transition. So when it comes down to educating our people, we have to do it in our own community and with our own pride, but keep it where it's not adversarial. where it's not adversarial to the system in which the children are in, unless somebody is fully capable, qualified to do home care. And if you are, okay, guess what? If a body politic, a small group want to say, hey, let's get all of our children and let's put them in a system. I think Messiah Bay has a template for anyone that is wanting to do homeschooling for the children. He's got a template for it, I think he said. But at least what my point is that as we are waking up to interface with the reality, which is we're in colonialism, we want to make sure that we're not doing it in a bloody battle every way. We got to skirmish. We don't need to have skirmishes, because we know that this is a politically legitimate process that we can handle. We just need more leaders to come on board, more people that want to help. Some people say, I don't want to be a leader. Well, the bottom line, if you got knowledge over the average bear, you kind of put yourself in a category of being a leader. It is what it is. So, but that's my, my take on it, my learning of it, my questioning of it. And it is that we have a plan of action, and it just means that we have to start activating it. But it starts locally, educating the people, even interfacing with the local government, their local government, not having clashes with them. But once the leadership is formulated and people have voted that, Tom, you're the leader. We believe that you're the best one for the job, not local town, right? Okay, let's just do an election. How many candidates? Okay. Now you keep that as documentary evidence that person does have the consent within the local area. Now it's called a body politic in the political term. Okay, we might just say, hey, it's our tribal, indigenous, governmental body. But then once you identified that person, then you can start moving forward with having that person maybe write in the document and put in the local colonial authorities, because they're not authority over us, but they're governing us. But putting them on notice saying, hey, up under the rights of indigenous people, we are reestablishing ourselves within our local tribal thing, within our right. So if anything happened, especially the leader has to do this. If you come across any of our people, please put me on notice that there's some issues, because, we're trying to formulate our body politic. It may be easier to do small towns than it is, a big city. Small towns know everybody, you know what I mean? So is that what you wanted me to?
Yes.
I have a
All right. Right
Sister, I have
on.
a question for you and
You got
Abdullah.
Oh, you got a question for
Abdullah,
me?
I have a
All
question
right.
for you.
Yes.
For both of you. When you have these meetings, can you or post it for Mafi so we can also view it and be with you guys when we're
Yeah,
speaking of these
we will. Yes.
meetings?
Yes, we'll send out to Mafi. Yeah, Mafi will be
Okay.
the one that we'll send it out to, and we'll before we do, we'll send out a letter on what we'll be doing to all of the the heads. All right, then Mafi will filter that to y'all. Yes.
Thank you. All
Absolutely.
right.
That was already. Yep. Mhm.
Thank you.
And it'll be between either September,
Awesome.
August, or September. But I most likely September, because other things we were trying to give us more time to get this thing going on, work this thing out as far as planning, get the letter formulated. I had to put together a committee, for this. And a small committee for this, because this will be, I said, monthly meetings. We'll meet for 6 months, once a month. And so and then part of that, we'll be educating the body politic about the plan. And part of the plan will be the meetings, the attendance, your community outreach, your giving your reports. That is all part of the process. All right.
Right.
So
All right.
every meeting will be PowerPoint, well laid out, well structured. We'll facilitate questions. We'll write every question down. We'll write every question down, and we're going to do this. We're going to do this.
Yeah. Sounds good, man. Brother Brian, do you want to continue where we left off? We have 7-Eleven.
Circa 711 AD, the Moors that ruled Muslim Spain and Portugal for centuries were black or dark-skinned people. See the golden age of Moors. Circa 1503 to 1517 AD, an estimated 3,000 Aboriginal American Moors were captured from the eastern seaboard of Terra Nova, North America. Some of their names are Al, Melicor, Miguel, Man, Juan Pedro, Antonio, and Juan Marco. A record of the account can be found in slave books of Seville, Valencia, Catalina, Spain. They were classified as Negro. Negro means dead, and black, dirty, and evil. See African and the Native American by Jackie Forbes. Circa 1676 AD, the Europeans that arrived in New England, North America, described the Aboriginal American Moors to be black as gypsies, Egyptians. Wow, okay. And circa 1763 AD, on October 7th, 1763, King George R. of Great Britain, treaty with the indigenous people, Indians, regarded land acquisitions and demarcation lines in America. The 4 colony districts and separate governments are called Quebec, East Florida, West Florida, and Grenada. Circa 1774 AD, the 5-pointed green star in the center of the field with red is the Moorish flag, was the alleged cherry tree that George Washington chopped down. Circa 1776 AD, on October 20, 1774, British American subjects of the British Empire formed the first United States perpetual constitution in the 13 colonies, called the Articles of Association, recognized Moors as Moors, not Negro or Black a Moors. See Journals of Continental Congress. Circa 1774 AD, Noah Webster and his associate branded the Moors Black a Moor. Moor was dropped and replaced with the customary term nigger, Negro, colored, or black. The use of the word nigger or Negro represents the spiritually dead people and not the Negritian people. Blackamoor for Black Moor, a black man or woman, especially an African Negro, any very dark skinned or dark complexion person. Circa 1775 AD, the first president of the United States of America under the Articles of Confederation was John Hanson, allegedly a Blackamoor, a Maryland Shawnee Native American patriot who fought in the American Revolution. A Moorish Mason by the name of Ben Bay Emanuel Mu Ali, aka Benjamin Banneker, was an architect of the design of the streets of Washington, D.C., with Masonic codes and astrological glyphs. America's oldest secret, the Talisman, U.S. Mystery Lines of Washington, D.C., by signature of the Visible Brotherhood.
Hey, so
Oh, go ahead.
this, so you got to hit somebody with this.
Because that's clean.
But look, though, as far as somebody hit you about the first president of the Articles of Confederation, you talking about John Hanson. This man was a Shawnee Moor. This is what you gotta hit the people with. You gotta let the people know this type of stuff, man. You know?
Right.
You know?
So the chopping of the cherry tree was spiritually significant in like us being like, you know, detached from our
Roots.
Like,
spiritual awareness.
yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What's the
Yeah.
significance of the cherry tree? Why a cherry tree?
Great question.
Looks like a cherry.
Flag behind me. Cherry. Resembles a cherry.
Yeah.
The cherry's red and little stem with the green leaves.
But like, what's the significance of it? Most like, you know, how coat of arms that like lets you know what they're about. It's like their namesake, their history. I know the star represents like Venus. I'm not sure.
Yes.
But
Yes. It does. represents Venus. But it's symbolic for the burying of this information. The stuff we're talking about, how we're talking about a president that was before George Washington, how we're talking about the empire, how we're talking about international law, being Moors, different treaties we had before the United States was even created, the treaty with the United States. All this was buried. So when they say the chop of the cherry tree, it's symbolic of burying everything we've basically been talking about on this call for the last hour. George Washington chopped the cherry tree down. That's symbolic of suppressing the Moorish information in history. That's pretty much what that means, you know what I mean? Where you leave off?
1775. I can read the next one.
I think you're okay, yeah. In Masonic.
Yeah.
1787, I think. 1787.
Yeah. You want me to start right there or 89?
Do 87.
Okay. 1787 AD. Assisted by England, Scotland, Ireland, Netherlands, France, Germany, Finland, and Sweden, the United States of America ended the war with the Moors, the Moroccan Empire, and signed the Treaty of Peace and Friendship with the Emperor Mohammed III, a Moorish Mason. The aforementioned treaty is the longest unbroken treaty in the history of the United States. I just had that one up on the screen too. That's interesting.
Well, the way they're acting, I don't think it's really, they don't keep the treaty.
Yeah, because
I
it's
could be
not
wrong.
friendship the way they treat.
Right. We're supposed to be at peace, and they're not peaceful people. That's what I see. They're not peaceful.
Yeah.
There's a term I want to ask you guys about. You said brother mentioned extraterritorial
Jurisdiction.
jurisdiction.
Yeah, Public Law 856.
All right.
And you can actually Google that. You can actually Google that extraterritorial jurisdiction. That should pop up, or you can put it in your if you download one of the online dictionaries, you can pull it up that way as well.
We'll just look it up right now.
I'm pulling it up right now. It's the legal ability of a government to exercise authority beyond its normal boundaries. Any author can claim extraterritorial jurisdiction over any external territory they wish. However, for the claim to be effective in the external territory, except by the exercise of force, it must be agreed either with a legal authority in the external territory or with a legal authority that covers both territories. When unqualified, ETJ usually refers to such an agreed jurisdiction or will be claimed ETJ of similar terms. That's interesting because it says that essentially that anybody can claim it. You have to agree to it.
Right. So what you also read was having the ability to have jurisdiction outside of its boundaries, right? You read that? Remember reading that part?
Yeah. Like the France purchase he was talking about.
Right. So that back to the agreeing to it. But yeah, now add the agreement element to that. Right. So in the context of what he was talking about, we were talking about Article 3. Now, well, first we're talking about Article 6. So Article 6, if you don't know, is the supremacy clause. And it's also called or known as the supremacy clause. And in the supremacy clause, we're talking about treaties are the supreme law of the land. So really, it's not even the Constitution, that document, the Constitution is really the treaty when you're dealing with a member of the, of these treaties. And then I brought up Article 3 as something that I've been to court a couple of times and I utilize certain angles, because once you get all this information, every magistrate that I was in front of, I didn't use the same tactics. I wanted to use it just to show for my competence I
Now
wanted to
you
come
right
from a
there.
different angle
Yes.
with the same result, right? All right, so I brung up Article 6, and that's the case that we're talking about. That's on YouTube. YouTube, you can look at the public record. And he started reading some Ventura County state laws talking about he was trying to tell me that the local Ventura local county laws superseded what I was talking about because I didn't have the proper font. Remember a couple weeks ago we were talking about
Right. The proper
I had
font.
I had a proper font. Even if I was saying
Proper
it was
what?
correct, the
Excuse me,
font,
sorry.
the font,
The
the
styling
font,
of the
the
letters.
styling of
Okay.
the letter. So he was saying no matter what I was saying may be true, but since the font was out of order, he can't read it. So then he kept reading. He read that from whatever he was reading. He was reading from something that he was saying. All right. Then he kept reading. He said the only exception is dealing with the supremacy clause, and then I stopped him. I said that's what I've been talking about the whole time. He paused. He said, "Now we're going in circles." You're right. He said, "Now we're going in circles with this."
All of a
Right.
sudden now.
Yeah. And then but that's when it changed. That's when the momentum changed, right? But so that's Article 6. I just wanted to share that because you might be new. That might be a new space for you. So Article 6, and we came in as a body. We came in as, all the writs was issued at Khalifa Society. You know, we came as a body,
Hmm.
right? One of our members had an issue. I was counsel, right? And it was a little song and dance before that, as far as him saying my bar member, and I brought up the council. So all this is language in the treaty, right? So now back to Article 3, dealing with you know disputes from a non-citizen and a U.S. citizen. That's how I used it in the court case to establish how that court wasn't proper. Abdullah was saying that it doesn't fit because it's not extraterritorial case. I was using it from the perspective of I'm not a U.S. citizen. So any disputes with a non-U.S. citizen, this is not the proper venue. Right. So this just to clarify where I was coming from with Article 3.
Yeah.
But Article 6 alone, you could just use Article 6 by itself. He's right on that. You don't even have to attach Article 3. Just use Article 6. That's the headliner. Just to play it safe. It's bottom line, Article 6, at the end of the day. Because now it takes them to the treaties. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Because Article 6 will tell you that the Constitution is against the United States. Do you know that, right?
Wow. Because it's in opposition to whom? Okay, I get what you mean.
United States, meaning it's not like really battling. It's telling them you can't go beyond this. So this is what you're giving, and you can't do anything else. That's what it's against. So it's like for them, but still against them.
One of my main questions is,
I mean,
oh, sorry.
go ahead, go ahead.
One of my main questions is that like they say that white people, at least the European Caucasian that inhabits these lands, their jurisdiction is based off the treaty would be the Treaty of Moroccan Friendship. So who's their checks and balances? They just get ruled by the society they're in, but they seem to just run it like in ways that are, unavailable to our Manelan people without,
Well,
significant word.
yeah, well, you dealing with immorality. Immorality is the key word. It's the word that we do, just the phrase that we're dealing with. They're not acting in honor at all. And that's where the international courts play a huge factor because now we can go in, right, as a body politic. We can go in and now we can bring all these atrocities to the international forefront. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it is documented.
Right. And then
It's
removed from their jurisdiction. See, where we go wrong is that we think the Supreme Court is the end all, the be all, the end all.
The highest,
and it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. So we go to the International Criminal Court, International Court of Justice. Now we're able to put all these problems and issues on the table and get remedy. That's the problem. That's what we need to get. This is why organization is key. And this is why we need to start trying to, I guess if you want to say elevate our cause for humanity, to kind of get the consciousness around our people, raise their vibrations a little bit higher, get the frequency to a level, raise the chakra, so we can bring this to the international forefront.
And keep in mind what we was talking about earlier, the elements of how we lost our sovereignty is we lost the ability to govern ourselves. So in order to do that is levels, is back to the boots on the ground, missionary work, getting the pool of people up, and then get the pool of people organized, competent first. Then we organize, right? Now people are doing things. People are having allegiance. It's a we got security. We got everybody designated and know their part. We got a marketing person. We got, treasurer. We got a secretary. We got, and everybody else is just bottom line ambassadors. They just get competent and letting the word marketing. We marketing what we do, It's gonna grow. I see it. It's taking off. From my perspective, from just learning this information, I didn't even know what a Moor was. Came and learned this information, and a couple years later, I'm mobilizing grown men and women, letting them know about their illustrious birthrights, and putting the organization together. So, from my perspective, I'm very optimistic that this can take off, because it's already taken off. You know what I mean? So, and we get more active as the years, months and years are going. We keep turning it up as we keep marinating, seeing what it's really about. I'm getting wiser every day, right? So it's just about meeting the people, linking up, and let's keep growing, getting competent. And like I said, on people on the outside looking in, gonna take note. You know what I mean? Look at, like, for example, Brother Abdullah. When I first came across what a Moor was, I didn't know him. I saw him on YouTube. I seen brothers like Taj, Asir Duke of Tears, C. Freeman Ed. I'm just studying, just getting information. Now now I know Abdullah personally. How did I know Abdullah personally? Because another Moor put him on to what I'm doing out here, because of the activity. Now I'm on it, right? So now we doing this. Now we in this space. Active, not passive, right? It's all going to take its course. All we got to do is stay diligent. Do we have allegiance to this? Are we bought in or not? And if we are bought in, once we show the consistency, people going to take note and join force. As simple as that. As simple as that. You know what I mean? And, put out, just make sure we know what we're doing. That's it. And that's why I'm glad Brother Abdullah got on here, because that is the perspective. A lot of people get lost in the sauce a little bit as they get in this information. They're like, they don't know where they're spinning their wheels and they don't know the direction, because they're trying to get out of something, or, not have to pay taxes, or they're in it for the wrong reason. And then they might not get a favorable reply. And now they get frustrated and there's more stuff. And you're not in it for the right reason. It's nationhood, nation state, nation building, right? Community. Classic example, back to Chinatown, Koreatown. It needs to be looking like that. That's the bottom line. Working with each other, right? The children are growing up in our communities, right? System, we got it. Right, you get the picture. So once again, man, when we in these huddles, in these think tanks, we trying to keep our lenses clear. Because when we leave these circles, man. You go ahead, Leon.
This is when I was a child. I used to remember Dr. Seuss, the Snitches. You guys ever watched that one?
Yeah.
The green star with the snitches. That, when I was a child, that really, it sunk in my head and my heart for some reason. I always played it in my head growing up. So when I went back and I started looking at it again, it made a lot of sense after studying all this. I was like, that was really applying to us. But that's just the way I feel. I don't know if it's true, but that's just the way I felt.
Right.
So, they tell you in so many different ways. Go ahead. Apologize.
Yeah, no, that's what it's about, man. Just, that's beautiful. But yeah,
we need to study. All of us, like myself, that's just coming into this. from the elder listening to the elder and the empress, like it's like I need to study even harder because they right. Like I hate to say this, but like it's good that we building and everything, but we kind of like hustling backwards right now. Like we're not really doing what matters, and what matters is what the elders was telling us. Like, yo, we got to push this shit. Excuse my language. We got to push this to the United Nations and the people that matter. You know what I'm saying? Like our beef ain't with the United States, is with the, you know what I'm saying? It's deeper than that. And that was a real eye opener for me, man. I appreciate the elder and the empress giving us that information and seeing, telling us what they're trying to do and everything. And I'm with it, man. I mean, I'm with it. That's what we need to be at, bro. You know what I'm saying? We need
But
to.
But keep in
you know,
mind, keep it this real quick, because I want everybody to make sure we clear and don't lose sight. The international, remember what the brother just read. We have to be able to govern ourselves. We lost the ability to self-govern. So going to the international court, that's cool. But at the end of the day, we need to self-govern. That's the biggest thing we need to do is self-govern. Look like Chinatown, Koreatown. That's the first priority. Then international court. Because remember, we're not a beggar nation. We're not asking nobody to do nothing. We're supposed to do it for ourselves. But if they got something for us, they want to throw us something based on the rights of indigenous people, or they got grants and all this, we'll take that too. But the first thing, we need to do it for ourselves. Not worry about the international community, like they gonna give us some grants or something. We need to
No,
organize.
that's not where we're coming from. That's
No,
not
no,
where
I'm
we're
not saying
coming
I'm
from.
not saying that. I'm not saying you're saying that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
but I want to make clear,
you
make
know,
sure that they're not
yeah,
that the ones
yeah,
who you're telling them, make sure that we're not. I want to make sure that they're
yeah.
clear that that's not where we're coming from. That's not
Okay,
where we're
yeah.
coming from at all. What we have to do, what we're talking about, is addressing the centuries of mass denationalization and dehumanization for all our people. That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking. We're not meaning that. We're not talking about going to the international community to beg. We're talking about addressing human rights violation of mass denationalization.
Yes.
Nobody writes black down. Nobody has ever written black on the application. I say written black. Nobody writes black on the application. They check it off. That means it's on the application already. It being on the application is human rights violation.
Mhm.
It being on the census is a human rights violation. I'm saying let's address the human rights violation to the proper venue as a body politic. I'm saying in order for us to get like Chinatown, we have to recover our lost sovereignty, but we got imposters in our house. Imposters are controlling our house. That's called colonization. They have maintained the United States is a fiduciary and trustee. In the Spanish land grant, Empress Goldston, let me talk Empress Goldston. Empress Goldston never made a claim to more sovereignty. She said out her mouth, she never made a claim to more sovereignty. Empress Goldston's claim, that's that case. That's that case, the Turner case. That's based on a Spanish, British, and French land grant. So we're going to challenge you, Empress Goldston, because your claim, Empress Goldston, is based on Spanish, French, and British land grants. That's not more sovereignty claim.
Right.
So she never made. So she made the claim. She was making the claim to the conscious Moors in 1994, 93, 94. Empress Goldston was making the claim to conscious Moors. She's making a more sovereignty claim out of her mouth. But you cannot make a more sovereignty claim based off a Spanish, French, British land grant. Meaning her family was granted land by occupying sovereigns. Not by the Moors, not by Moors. Now hear me out. Her family was not granted land by Moors. Her family was granted land by occupying sovereign that took land from you. Oh, hold on. They took land from you, and gave it to their subjects. That's what no, I'm saying, let's be clear what a claim is based on.
Right, still
All right, so what I'm talking about, Mafi, is we can address for all our people the mass denationalization. That is huge. You know what that means?
The
You
diaspora.
know what that means of getting these people on the record, on the world record, that they're Moors. That's huge. That is a huge feat. I'm talking about I'm talking about that we're clear that we're Moors and that our people are Moors, and we're addressing the mass denationalization by Spain, France, Great Britain, and maintained by the United States. That has to be addressed, not United States. We keep talking United States courts, United States courts, United States this, United States, United States, United States, United States, United States. Get all that. Let's take it to the world. That's all I'm saying. Let's change the trajectory of this. Local cases, local cases, local cases, local cases, federal court, United States federal court. Let's change the trajectory of this. But we have to form what politically. That's what we're talking. That's what we're doing. We cannot look like Chinatown as long as most of our people don't know who they are. We cannot look like Chinatown as long as English, Spanish, you got these Spanish land grants, French land grants. United States is obligated under conquest now. We're talking about under colonies, because remember, United States is a fiduciary and trustee of Spain, France, Great Britain. Their letters of patent, there's Spanish land grants, French land grants. Article 3 of the Louisiana Purchase Treaty. The French subjects didn't go anywhere. The French subjects, they're here today. Their descendants are here today. Became citizens of the United States. United States is obligated to that. Under conquest. They're not obligated to you. United States ain't obligated to you. United States is obligated to maintain conquest. United States is obligated to France. United States is obligated to maintain the Spanish interests, the French interests. Let's talk real talk. They ain't obligated to you. That instrument, United States Constitution, is about maintaining conquest on your throat. That instrument, United States Constitution, is about keep maintaining that foot on your throat, on your neck, rather.
You know, I was going to say,
understand who they're obligated to. They're fiduciaries based on. All right, hear me out. Did France give the land back to us? Did France return the land back to us? In 1803, did France return the land to us?
No.
All right. What happened? What happened in 1803?
That's the Louisiana Purchase. Louisiana Purchase.
So France did what?
They sold it.
They sold the land grant.
No, what they did what though?
They sold the land grant.
To whom?
They sold it to the United States.
United States.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And the citizens, the French subjects became what? What happened to the French subjects? What happened to the French subjects?
They became United States citizens.
Nationalized.
There you go.
They became naturalized.
United States. No. Wasn't naturalized. No. Hear me out. No. That's you're constructing.
Yeah.
You're constructing. You're constructing. You're just making stuff up. Article 3. They didn't go through no naturalization. You have to read naturalization. The French subjects did not go through a naturalization process. They became automatically by the ratification of that treaty. That's not naturalization. Naturalization is whereby you take a 5-year process of residence and all that. French subjects didn't go through that. They became citizens by virtue of you're saying you're constructing. You got to read the treaty. You have to read Article 3 of the treaty. They became what? They became United States citizens by virtue of Article 3 of the treaty. That was an agreement. That's not naturalization. You and I in agreement. My people are going to become citizens by virtue of this treaty. Naturalization is a different process. It's not naturalization. That's treaty. They came to the United States citizens by virtue of treaty. But when you say naturalization, that's a different process. It's not treaty. So you have naturalization treaties, but you got to explain exactly what you got to go to the treaty.
Well, Elder, to speak on my behalf of why I thought it was nationalization is because it's making someone that's not a national of a place and making them a national, correct?
But I'm saying I want you to look up the process, though. Hear me out. But that's a different process. Follow me out. Naturalization is 5 years, though. Follow me. I want you to look up naturalization in Russia, France, England, Germany, Nigeria, etc., 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 etc. Just look them up. Just follow me. Please, I need you to look up for yourself. I need you to look it up for yourself because I do not want you to say Abdullah said anything. I want you to look up the naturalization process of 5, 6 different countries. The minimum is all of them will have 4 to 5 years. You ain't signing something and then you're a United States citizen. It's a process of taking up residency first. Then it's a test, then it's 5 years. Here we're not talking 5 years. We're talking what? Treaty. We're just talking the ratification of the treaty. They become citizens. That's not naturalization. I'm talking about the process. I hear what you're saying, yes, but it's not naturalization. You're using the word naturalization. They became citizens by virtue of the Louisiana Purchase Treaty. Because they're there already. They're there. They're on that land already. So now you're ceding the land along with the negotiation that my people, my subjects, become citizens of the United States and be protected under the United States Constitution. So therefore, that property that was granted by the French crown is protected. But now they become citizens of the United States, though, and protected under the United States Constitution. It's not naturalization. Because once you say naturalization, then naturalization laws, then you talk about the process. Once you say naturalization, then you have to look up naturalization laws. They didn't go through that process. That's all. They didn't go through that 5 years residency. They didn't go through that process. That's all. That's what I was saying. I just want you to be clear on what I'm saying. Because it's a process. So once you say naturalization, it's still a process, though. You gave me a definition, but there's a process.
Is everybody clear on that? Everybody clear, Brother Hassan?
I just looked it up. He right. I just looked it up. $750 fee, all that. Yeah.
There you go, brother. That's what I'm talking about.
I got you.
Right.
I'm with you, Elder. Okay.
Oh, I know, son. Yeah, I know you're gonna do your diligence. I know that. You're gonna do your diligence.
Everybody clear on that, Brian? You clear on that? Everybody clear on that? On that?
Yes. Yeah.
This is
Mom,
good though, because they get an opportunity to clear things up, though. Yeah, because I just want, so that y'all would, that way that you actually talking from a knowing position. Now you can show, have receipts and show and prove, because that's not a naturalization process. That Article 3, that's not naturalization. So you got that. You understand that you talking about You're talking about a whole body of people, French subjects. You're talking about Louisiana Territory, that big behind land, Moorish land, all that Moorish land, all that Moorish land. United States what? Created 15 states out of. So the French subjects there, and there's also Spanish subjects too. Because man, France ceded to Spain in 1762. So Spain brought her people there. So it was also Spanish subjects there as well. Because Spain retroceded to France in 1801. And the reason why France sold it to the United States, because they needed a huge cash flow. Remember, they was in a war with Haiti. They was in a war with Haiti. So France needed a huge cash flow. So the United States already had a plan. The United States already had a plan based on the ordinance of 1784, the ordinance of 1785, the Northwest Territory 1787. The United States already had a plan of what to do with that, to create states out of it. What did they do in the Northwest Territory, Michigan, Ohio, Illinois? They created what? In the Northwest Territory, that they created 5 states. So the United States already has a blueprint. It's called the Northwest Ordinance of 1787. They already had a blueprint. So the United States was already, with the blueprint of the 1787 to 1803, 15 years already with the blueprint. The Northwest Ordinance of 1787. And Article 4, Section 3, what they did was they adopted the language, drafted the language, some of the language that's in the Northwest Territory in Article 4, Section 3 of the United States Constitution, Article 4, Section 4 of the United States Constitution. What's the agreement? That new states will be on equal footing, because this was part of the negotiation. That new states will be on equal footing than with the 13 original states. So Article 4, Section 4 of the United States Constitution, the United States shall guarantee a Republican form of government in all of the states in the Union. What does that mean? Let's go to the Northwest Ordinance. That new states will be on equal footing with the 13 original states. It's Article 4, Section 3, that it will be that federal zones, that certain lands will be placed in the federal government. So the states ceded. So they made agreement with that the Northwest Ordinance will be governed by the federal government. That's Article 4, Section 3 of the United States Constitution. Remember, they're drafting in. Remember, there was states, there were a committee that met outside the Constitutional Convention. This was that Northwest Ordinance, that was a major issue. That was a major issue. We have nothing to do with that Constitution, my brothers and sisters.
I wanted to highlight something you said, man. I wanted to
highlight. Please do.
It was an element in your demonstration right now that I think is imperative for everybody to realize.
Please do.
Especially dealing with our people from the islands. When you're talking about the Haitian Revolution, it's tied into what the brother was talking about with the Louisiana Purchase. Because if France is going to war with our people, our Haitian brothers, what's the brother name that spirit headline the revolution?
Overture, Toussaint.
Right, Toussaint. Yeah. Right. The more out there, that's the connection. They needed to get arms to fight our people in Haiti. That's why they sold it. That's a realistic connection that you can talk to our people, especially our Haitian brothers that you run across. Like, look, man, we all Moors. They gonna love to hear that. They ain't gonna expect you to say that. They ain't gonna expect you to say that, right? So this one separates the intellectual Moor, the study Moor from the religious group or the Negro or whoever.
Yeah,
right?
They're limited in knowledge, bro.
So question, family.
Yeah.
So yeah. We just got established by the elder that the Constitution has nothing to do with us. So how do we? What is our direction of attack? Like what do we use against them if the Constitution is not for us? I'm buzzing right now.
Moorish treaties, brother. Moorish treaties. The Article 6 treaty clause. Moorish treaties. Moorish treaties. All right, now hear me out, Hassan. Hear me out, Hassan. Howard's, write this down, everyone. It says he's bugging, so I'm unbug you. I'm unbug you.
I ain't mean it like
No,
that. What I'm saying,
no,
my
what
mind is
but
blown right now. You know what I'm saying?
let me play around, man.
Yeah, let me lay it on you real fast.
No, I got you, brother. I got you,
Go
man.
ahead.
Yeah. Hauenstein versus Lynham. Hauenstein, Hauenstein versus Lynham, Slyhman. That's an 1879 case, United States Supreme Court case. This is based on the 1850 Swiss Treaty between the Swiss Confederation and the United States. Hauenstein, Solomon Hauenstein. I'm bug you. Solomon Hauenstein had lived in Virginia. He had purchased 3 properties. He had died. Now, Virginia had enacted a law that they're going to snatch proceeds from sales of property. They're going to sell the property and keep the proceeds. A Virginia state law. Now, his relatives came from Switzerland, all right, to recover the proceeds from the sales from their uncles' property sales. Article 5 of the treaty between the Swiss Confederation and the United States protects a Swiss national living in the United States who purchased property to recover proceeds from sales of his property. Also protects a United States citizen in Switzerland who purchased property in Switzerland to recover. It protects both, all right? Both. Thank you. So first had to be determined, Hassan and everyone, is that Hauenstein did Solomon Hauenstein ever renounced his allegiance and citizenship to Switzerland? He had never announced. You see, I'm bugging. So wherefore, it had to first be determined. Once it had been determined that Solomon Hauenstein was still a citizen of Switzerland, that treaty kicks in now. Now the treaty kicks in. See the protection? The protection is there already, Hassan. For him was Article 5 of that treaty. Article 5 of that treaty allowed his relatives to recover proceeds. And that Article 3, that state law, that Virginia state law was violated that treaty. So there's look up Hauenstein versus Lynham. The last 3 pages of that case summary breaks down what Mafi said, the supremacy clause. That emphasizes the supremacy clause that Mafi brought in. So you wonder, the reason I bring up Hauenstein because because the Supreme Court makes a great deliberation on the supremacy clause. Remember, I said before, Virginia state enacted a state law that violated a statute that violated Article 5 of that treaty. That's what I'm saying. I'm bugging.
Whoa.
That's why Mafi said Article 6. What? It's there already.
Have you read Article 6, Brother Hassan? Are you familiar with that?
Of the Constitution, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I got the Constitution on my dresser. I printed it out. Yes, sir.
But I want you to check out that Hauenstein case because it supports what Mafi's saying about Article 6. Because that's the Supreme Court. They talking about this 3 pages of that case summary that gives a whole dedication to Article 6. Yes. That's why I continue referencing that case. When Shem brought that case, man, that case blew me away, man. When Shem brought that case, I said, I was back. I'm dead serious. I literally got up and was running around the room.
And once again,
I was really got out of my seat and was running around the room with my hands raised in the air, like, this is powerful. This is powerful.
It proves that even though you there's people who have forgotten status, your status still applies, regardless, as long as you have the treaty and the application correct.
Thank you.
It still
That's
applies.
what Mafi is saying. That's what Mafi is saying. That's exactly what Mafi is saying.
So then it's paramount that you have treaty knowledge. So when you are coming across instances where you being violated, you could refer to your original status and they gotta shut up.
That's what Mafia is saying.
But that's the highest
That's
law
what Mafia is
in
saying.
international law.
That's
Yes.
great. That's excellent, man. I'm glad you got that comprehension, man. That's beautiful to hear you talk
God,
like that, man.
Yeah, that was well said.
I
Well
got
said.
you. So the only part of the Constitution we refer to Article 6 because of the treaties and things that's been in place. That's what we use. We go off the treaties. We don't go off the Constitution. Am I correct?
Right. Now your job is to know the treaty, know all the
Hold on.
treaties
I can't. I'm
that
on my phone.
that apply to
Hold on.
us.
Grab my phone.
You know,
Hey, I was going to tell you guys, get that book, Moors and Masonry. All the treaties are in there.
Oh, that sounds
Moors and Masonry.
beautiful.
Part one
Is
and
it
part
is
two.
it is
All
it
the
is it
treaties
on
in it.
Amazon? Where is it at? Where I order it
The
from?
title sounds juicy.
it's is Moorish Civil Liter. I built
Mooresandmasonry.org.
Moorsandmasonry.org.
Mooresandmasonry.org. Yeah, not the
Okay.
Moors Civil Letter. Mooresandmasonry.org. Put it in the chat. Moors and Masonry. Like I put in the chat. I'm gonna put it in the chat in a minute.
But yeah, but that's the hook though, brother Hassan.
This
That's the hook.
is where discussions have to be. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Let me put it in the chat. Where's this chat at? Oh, right here. Okay.
Oh, Mataz Majia Islam. I didn't even see your shot time in.
Boy. There we go. I just put it in the chat. You see it? Yep, there it is.
Appreciate that.
Yep. So I just wanted to support what Mafi was saying, because we gotta, and the brother supported what we were saying. But we all, gotta all be in one accord, but with knowledge though. We don't need no cheerleaders. I'm not looking for no cheerleaders. I need people who, with knowledge.
Yeah, man. So, hopefully, and once again, it's just for vision. We want to get the vision. We got what's the vision locally? Come platforms like this, get the information, take notes, get competent, become a good ambassador, so we can grow locally, right? And then like the brother working, right? So he can put all the localities together. So, matter of fact, since we're talking about that, brother Abdullah, it was some Moors. I think they call it autonomous something. That was like in LA, and I believe DuPont connected me to them, but I don't know. They kind of just fell off. I don't know what happened to them. Yeah, I invited them to the function, to the summer solstice function, and everything. They just kind of fell off. I'm not sure. You know what I mean? And that's imperative, right? That if it's Moors in the general area, we need to link up, right? You know what I mean? So that's what I was getting at. When I said earlier, self-governing, we gotta be on the same page, just period. Like just on simple stuff. So if it's 50 body
Foundational.
politics,
Yes.
yeah, if you're in communication with 50 body politics, I would want to be. I would let her talk to the heads and build a rapport with these people. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying, Mafi. That's gonna be done that's gonna be done with structure though. This is what I was talking about, having monthly Zoom, because everything we gotta do has to be structured. It can't be some haphazard, it gotta be structured, and that's what we're doing. That's what I'm saying. That's why I said give me until like September, August or September, so we can work out, I gotta put the committee together so we can work out the structure. All right, but getting the heads, we already got that. But I want us to, when we meet, I want us to be orderly and have structure.
That's great. That's great. Great work. Great work.
That's what I said about that. September will be more realistic. Give us 2 months or so.
Okay, well, you might have been muted, but I asked you a question about the Moors.
Oh yeah. Was I mute? Yes. What's the question?
Autonomous. Is it a body politic called autonomous?
Oh yeah, I was muted. You know what I would say? I do know him. I connect to him. I think I told him about you. I'm going to reach out to him.
Okay.
He's a Facebook friend of mine.
Okay, because he said he has like a body of Moors, like it's like 12, 15 Moors.
All right, good. He's in California?
He said he's in LA. I'm like, okay, we need to be linking up.
Y'all need to hook up, man. No, I gotta connect y'all. You already got DuPont, a few other, who else is out there? It's a few others. Yeah, y'all got it. Like y'all got to link up.
Yeah, like that'd have been great. We had the summer solstice celebration yesterday. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Everybody came through with
how was
us.
that? Happy
Oh, yeah, it was a
summer
good turnout.
solstice, everyone. Happy summer solstice.
Happy summer solstice.
Yeah.
Happy summer solstice.
Yeah, it was a great turnout. It was a great
Out
turnout.
there.
Yeah, man. Okay, all right. So yeah, everything. Just keep me posted. We in motion.
Yep.
We in motion. Yeah.
Yep.
Any question in the chat? Anything? Statements?
I think the last thing I
15.
would like to say, the only thing is that like you were talking about like self-governance and like the essence of like our condition is like a lack of self-governance. What did they say? I forget. There's like a quote. It's like it's a rule that some things have to be governed, and he who does not govern himself must be governed. So
Right.
we gotta just restore our people to, you know, self-government. And like you said, organizing our leaderships restores that faculty as a
Yeah.
bigger body. So I get what you mean. I get where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because this is a huge
hard
task,
journey.
man.
It's gonna be a hard journey because a lot of our people are lost, man.
Like we don't need all our people, brother. We don't
lost.
need all our people.
What happened?
We don't need all our people, brother.
Yeah,
To facilitate remember I was talking about earlier about half hour ago. We don't need all our people to facilitate this Bush national provisional government. What I'm saying is that we need, like, I'm focusing on y'all right now. Let's focus on what we already have and get y'all speed. Let's increase our knowledge of the people who already are with it. With the proper concepts. Because when if you put we need all our people, we'll never get there. Because it becomes what happens, it becomes like so surmounting. Once you start it's like it's gonna take forever. We can't do this. That's why I don't come like that. Because we don't need all our people. We need a strong national provisional government. Let's focus on that.
Yeah, I know a brother out of Detroit, a brother
Right.
out of Detroit territory. He said that some people are meant to be slaves, and some people that's just their calling, right? And if you are able to run and get away from all, you know, the quote unquote plantation, if you're able to run, Big Mama can't do it. She 95, 85 years old, you know, she can't do it. She, you know, so some of us is meant to be in that condition, in that state of mind. That mindset, as sad as it may sound, some of us is just not going to wake up. So as Abdullah was saying, we got to take and run with the brothers that do have the knowledge, and we can just we can form our nation within.
We need a provisional, right? Let's
Okay.
focus. I want us to focus. I'm saying that let's have a plan of which we have already, and put that focus there, and then you put the next step. But let's get to that step first. Let's achieve that. I want to put the energy on achieving that. Because if you go all our people, then we ain't going to never achieve the provisional. We're going to be stagnant, and I don't want us to be stagnant.
My question would be like this. It'd be like, you guys, this is just like, it's open for everyone. But I find that like, well, I've read it too. It said that like the concentration of knowledge in the handful of a couple people sometimes produce extraordinary result than distributing the knowledge
that's a good example.
In like fragments, because they only see pieces, and the pieces get misconstrued, and then they get led into ignorance. So I just kind of have a, you know, open to whoever can contribute to it in that sense. Like, what do you guys think about like the idea of like, you know, that certain people can, you know, be potentially saved, and some people can potentially, you know, cannot be saved.
Be a lost cause. I agree, brother.
Hey,
I agree.
that's true. That's true. And you can't cast your pearls among swine, but at the same time, put a good foot forward. Once again,
that's my attitude.
I can dig that, man. I can dig that.
Yeah,
man.
like that.
Like I say, once again, 2018, no, 2017, I didn't know what a Moor was. I didn't know what that was at all. You know what I mean? And it come from just learning the information and doing something with it. Now I'm on a Zoom with y'all. Now I know multiple Moors. Now I'm networking. I do business with Moors in different states. We do
See that?
commerce. You know what I
There you
mean?
go.
So it's like it's not impossible. And,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean? Like it's
Right.
enough people right here that could really buy in and tell they and get competent, tell their friends and family so they can join the force field. It
I
could be
agree.
100. It could be 100 members in Khalifa Society tomorrow. All right, 6 months,
I'm
5
gonna see
months.
that. That's possible. That's possible.
It's possible.
300. That's possible. That's not
That's
even far
realistic.
fetched.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's
that's
That's
realistic,
definitely
possible,
realistic.
far
modest.
fetched, into reach and everything.
Yeah, modest numbers, right?
You ain't.
But
That's not. You ain't say that's achievable.
100 people, you know what we can do on the same
100
page? That's
people?
power. That's
What, 100
power.
people? You pay each other?
You
Economically, we
know,
can what? Come on, man.
It's over.
yeah,
On
yeah.
the
You
same
know what?
page?
Yeah, I tell people to start with their households first, man. Who
Yes.
know you better than your own family members? Start with your household. Don't even look outside your household. Start with your household first. If you can, if you can get them to buy in and get them on the right accord, then that's the start right there. Just the household by itself.
Yep. And you know, ideally, that's why it's man, woman, and child. Man, woman, and child. It's supposed to be, you know, people join the temple, them, their wife, their children, and then other men, wife, their children. Now it's like you growing. It's like, oh, it's a bunch of families, right? In the body politic. Now it's the number, right, children growing up. So it's pretty. It ain't that far fetched, you know. And it's just staying diligent and consistent. Remember, it's for life. It's not overnight, you know. So let's go over a couple more. Let's read a little bit more and we can close out in prayer. I think you left off on 1790.
Circa 1790. On Wednesday, January 20, 1790, a petition was presented to the House of Representatives from the Sundry, Free Moors, subject to the prince under the Emperor of Morocco in alliance with the United States of America. The Sundry Free Moors Act states that all free Moors may be tried under the same laws of the citizens of South Carolina and not under the Negro Act. Oh, wow, freedom.
Right. So that's a new space for you, right? This first time you came
No,
across
yeah,
this?
because it just, reconfirms what we were talking about earlier about like how your status is more paramount, when you take it at the right level. And then circa 1857 AD, the Dred Scott case from the United States Supreme Court hold that African Moors imported, captured in an undeclared war of enslavement into this country, territory of the United States and the several states, and sold as perpetual slaves were not intended nor intended to be included under the word citizen in the Constitution, whether emancipated or not, and remain without rights or privileges except such as those which the government might grant them. That's the Dred Scott versus Stanford. The reason why Moors, Africans, cannot be U.S. citizens because the Moroccan Empire has a business arrangement with the British Empire, which is European corporate contract citizen Caucasian men. United States is a foreign European corporation conducting trade and commerce in foreign lands. The hidden history of the Moorish people with the United States of America is recorded on the back of a Federal Reserve note. There are two seals on the back of a $1 Federal Reserve note, the U.S. currency. On the left side is the Great Seal of the Moorish Empire. On the right is the seal of the United States. There are 33 passwords on the $1 notes. The indigenous sovereign people, Moors, were snake betrayed by some of the European colonial state citizens who enslaved the Moors and branded them nigger, Negro, black, color, Afro, Hispanic, West Indian in order to conceal their true identity. Wow, even the term West Indian different now.
Oh yeah.
Circa 1913 AD, Knowledge of our Moorish heritage would have been lost if there were not the Moorish Mason, our illustrious brother Nubal Drew Ali, who founded the Moorish Science Temple in Newark, New Jersey in 1913. For the unconscious denationalized Moors, i.e., Negroes, Blacks, and colored, Moorish represents our nationality. Science represents our ancestors' spiritual arts maintained in esoteric Freemasonry, and the temple represents our body, the dwelling place of the creator of the universe. Also, Noble Drew Ali is responsible for the Moorish flag flying once again on the American Moroccan soil in 1913. The state of Morocco was not allowed to fly the Moorish flag until 1956 AD after the independence from France.
Okay, see, this
No.
the juicy part. This is the juicy part. So there's a couple elements I want to highlight. The breakdown of Moorish Science Temple. I love this breakdown. Moorish represents our nationality. Science represents the ancestor spiritual arts maintained in esoteric Freemasonry, and the temple represents our body. And the reason I like that is because the temple is not the building. It's a temple right here. On Zoom, this is a temple. And the temple is the body as well, right? If we look at it like that, we in good shape. That's all I wanted to highlight. And the fact that nationality must not be combined with Freemasonry. And the reason I'm highlighting that, because we already know when we in public with our fez and turbans on, we either gonna get people that know us by being cultural and salute us and want to take pictures with us. And my great grandfather had a fez on, and or are you a Shriner? Are you in a Masonic lodge? That's two sides of the fence. Or people that just don't know nothing and they think we just some Muslims and they just ignorant. That's pretty much the space, right? So when we're getting are we Shriners, we want to be able to competently explain the difference between the Moor and a Masonic lodge member. That's all I wanted to highlight.
Hey, speaking of Shriners, right, Mafi?
Yeah.
You know, this is crazy, man. This, for example, the NBA, right? The NBA, National Basketball Association, right? There's a team, right? It's called the New York Knickerbockers. Everyone is cheering for the Knicks, right? But they have no idea what a Knickerbocker is. A Knickerbocker is where the Knickerbocker Cottage is where the Shriners were created. So if you out here wearing Knickerbocker hats, supporting that team and all this and that, you don't know the history of what the Knickerbocker College embodies, then you're really lost in the sauce.
And to add on
Everything is
to add on to
yeah, I'm sorry.
that's a Dutch colony. Even the color schemes is represents the Dutch, you know.
That's kind of why I asked earlier about the cherry tree, because signs and symbols
You
is
talking about the
key to like
New York
really
Knicks, the
understanding.
basketball team? What?
Yeah, the New York Knicks. Yeah, the Shriners, they were created at a place called the Knickerbocker Cottage in New York back in like I want to say 1878. Don't quote me on that year, but somewhere around that time. But I'm using that as a reference to today's time where so many people cheer for the New York Knicks, the basketball team, not fully understanding the history of New Amsterdam, New Amsterdam, as well as the whole Knickerbocker facade of the team, the mascot, and all that, the colors.
Right.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah,
Oh
that's true.
man, he looks like a hot dog. Oh my God, these are definitely like Dutch color. I see what you mean. Wow.
It's a Dutch colony, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
you can see it in the colors.
New York is a Dutch colony, and they kept the color scheme, right? You see what I'm talking about? You looking at it right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's back to the competence of the Moor, just enlightening the people on every angle, just
That's
to
crazy.
get our people woke, man. Like, and it's realistic. Read a little bit more. I think you're on 1933.
1933 AD. The city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, recognized the Moors domiciling in America in their Moorish titles El Bey Al Day, House Resolution number 75. Okay. Prior to circa 46 BC, the ancient Moors were referred to their national names like Wichita, Almoravides, Almohades, Moabites, Canaanites, Yusurites.
Now that's Almoravides, Almohads. You kind of butchered it a little bit, so I
I
wanted to
know.
know. All right, but you got it. It's still
The
there?
copper color American Hebrew, the Israelites, kept the Passover called the Green Corn Dance. The ancient ones, or mound pyramid builders of North America, over 150 unearthed, some Egyptian styled, and are up and down the Mississippi River, according to the U.S. Bureau of Ethnology, which was built by the copper-hued skinned Asiatic Moors. The Aboriginal American, or mound builders of North America, built ceremonial mounds that date as far back as 5,400 years ago. The oldest mounds in North America to date is found in Watson Brake, Louisiana, southwest of Monroe, even the word Monroe, circa 500 BC. The above photo is a stone head of a copper-colored Aboriginal American from the Hopewell Mounds in Ohio, North America. Circa 1848 AD, on June 6, 1848, a Supreme Court decision read by Theo H. McCaleb, a judge, declared that the United States did not own the land of the ancient ones. That's crazy. Mound builders of North America, more than 1 million square miles of land. Also, the court declared that lawful landowners are the heirs of Henry Turner, Wichita Moors. 1993 AD. The present day Empress, Her Highness Veridice Tiara Wichita Bay. She's living heir of the ancient ones. Empire Wichita de Dugama Moundia. They are recognized by the United Nations as the oldest people in the world.
I think that's a good place to stop. This was a good session today. Any thoughts, questions, statements on any level? Got something, Larry Bay?
No, I'm just floating in and out.
Hassan, how you feeling, man? How you feeling over
Fire,
there?
bro. I feel good. I feel good, man. This was fire this time, man. Appreciate the elder and empress coming through with the information. Appreciate all y'all. Appreciate you, my friend.
That's Benjamin Bay, how you feeling over there, man?
Peaceful, peaceful. It's all good. Great clarity. Do a baby here, giving another higher analysis to how to approach, Morris nationality, but just have excellent.
Wow. Lionel, how you feeling over there? You over there running around. Treyel.
Oh, I'm all good, man. It was some beautiful information. It was a good lesson. Soaking it all in. Yeah.
Leon Bay, how you feeling over there, man? Are you
Learn
okay?
that treaty.
You muted. You muted. We can't hear you. Oh, he hung up on accident. I could tell he hit his ear.
Damn. Gross.
But it's all good. Who else there? That's Magiel. She probably messing with the baby. All right. This was a good session. I'll make sure I send a recording of this session to everybody so everybody can take notes and stuff like that too. Yeah, so I guess I'll just close out in prayer. We close out for today. Until next time. And one thing I will do want to say too is like brothers like Brian, brother Trey, brother Hassan, you know, get y'all fezzes, man. Get y'all some fezzes, and in your case, brother Brian, get your noble title so we can get the ball rolling, get the paperwork going. So when you on these meetings, it'll be like you're a national part of the body politic.
Represented.
Back for the
Got
record,
you,
just for
got you,
even record,
got you.
you know what I mean? Record keeping process. You on
I'll
a
wear
roll
my
call.
pants from next fall. I got you, bro.
Yeah, just
So
when
just
you
stay in
go out.
contact. Just hit you up.
Yeah, stay in contact. I'll send you the link, get the feds and stuff like that, and just let me know. Just let me know. Where you have you thought of a title? Appellation? Noble title yet? You
I think I
still
want something to do with like science. I don't know. I still have to think about it. I feel like it's very like a spiritual element, So I do want to be accurate, as to my nature.
just let me know so we can move forward with that. And I get your nationality paperwork signed and sealed with some witnesses on there. And my brother Elian Bay, you back. Yeah, you was muted at first.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, I was saying that I'm so excited to join the meetings that are coming in the future with Abdullah Bay and so forth. That's what really pumped me up today. Not that I'm not pumped up every day about this stuff, but that's like I've been waiting for that. Does that make sense? It's like I knew this day was coming. I knew it was coming.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree with that. I was like, wow, man, that's next level plateau right there, and
right.
that's what I wanted to hear too. That's next level.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, glad people working out here. It's good to see more is out here working, and I feel like today gave people a good a vision on what the movement is about. On a different level, domestically, regionally, why it's important with the missionary work. And then it's a build up to the international community, and the importance of self-governing. And I just come down to organization. An organization just comes down to human beings buying into what we're doing, willing to dedicate, they part of that, part of their life to this. I know people got friends, family, work, job, but everybody does. And back to the allegiance, we got to put into this. And the more people that do it, the more we can do, right? And I won't be long-winded. That's all I got to say. I'm gonna close out in prayer, and we can call it Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, my salvation, by night and by day, who was holy prophet, Noble Jew Ali. Amen. Islam. And I'm sorry about that. I know some people will do the chant and then everybody else will say it. But this technology be glitchy, so I don't know if I'm off. So that's why I just read the whole prayer. Just FYI, I just read it. I to get it, the time to be off. But peace and love, everybody. And
peace and love, Noble.
Peace and
everybody have a
love,
beautiful rest of
bro.
your day.
Peace and love,
Peace
everybody.
and love, everybody. Peace
See
and love.
y'all next week. You know what I'm saying?
Islam.
Have a good one, guys. Thank you so much, Noble.
Islam.